has Steven Spielberg revealed what may actually take place if aliens and UFOs came to Earth and it was revealed to the public? Let's go through his latest movie, Disclosure Day. Alright. So welcome back to DMR. Thank you for tuning back in as always. Much obliged. We are back in the DMR vault, as we can see, the 4K vault. You gotta love it, kids. You gotta love it. It's an amazing little place to be. So it's chilled now. It's winter. So what better time than to jump on here and talk about one of the latest movies that has dropped recently called Disclosure Day, directed by Steven Spielberg, starring Emily Blunt. So I was pretty hyped for this movie, pretty hyped indeed, because this is not his first rodeo, Spielberg that is, when it comes to alien films. I think this is his fourth film, and we're going to go through a whole heap of different things in relation to Disclosure Day, aliens, UFOs, real world events that have taken place. And we're going to go over the cast and the crew. I'm going to discuss also spoilers as well. This is a spoiler review. I've been doing a lot of spoiler reviews lately, so you have been warned. If you haven't seen the film, go out and check it at the cinema and then come back and watch this particular episode. So we'll break it up into 4 parts in relation to Spielberg's alien films, also the real world events that have taken place, the cast and the crew, and we're going to go over the top spoilers for this film. But before we get into all of that, a reminder that DMR is part of the Audible Creators Program. So what does that mean for you, the listener, or the viewer there at home? Well, there's a link in my show. You can jump on that link. It will take you over to Audible, and you can start a 30-day free trial on behalf of DMR. That's right, 30 days for free. And can I make a cracker of a suggestion? Jump on there and download Be Useful by none other than Arnold Schwarzenegger. The guy is a living, breathing Hollywood hero story. It's written and narrated by him and basically goes through all the major parts of his life, from being a bodybuilder, all that jazz, and moving to America, then cracking into Hollywood and becoming a leading man, and of course when he got into politics, as well as the governor of California. So here is the title here. You can see it up on the screen, so jump on there, grab that. If you stick around past the 30 days, terms and conditions do apply, but you will be supporting DMR if you go down that route. So let's get into it, shall we? Disclosure Day. Let's talk about aliens, UFOs, conspiracy theories, all that jazz. Let's go.
Welcome to DMR, Dewey's Movie Reviews, the red carpet treatment.
Alright, so as I said, I'm going to be putting this into 4 different sections. So let's discuss Disclosure Day, and let's discuss also Spielberg and alien movies in general. So 1977 is when he released Close Encounters of the Third Kind. If you haven't seen it, go back and check it out. It's a very, very old movie, and it's all about, obviously, the aliens that are coming to Earth and whatnot, and how people's reactions are to them. It's a very light-hearted alien film, and it's old school. So go back and check it out. Not a bad movie. I haven't seen it in quite a while. The CGI in it is obviously 70s based, so be prepared for that kind of look when you're watching this particular film. Then in 1982, so this was 3 years before I was born, which was E.T., Extraterrestrial. Again, a bit of a family movie. So it's about a family that basically discover a real-life alien, which I think is actually a baby or a child version of an alien, E.T., and Elliot, I think it was the main character in it, the young boy that discovers him, and a whole heap of different magical type scenarios happen around this. Again, there's a lot of that Men in Black feel to it, with the government that are basically trying to find this particular alien. The alien gets sick in the movie as well, and that's some childhood trauma right there. If you can't remember that scene where E.T. is basically dying and he's in some drain or some ditch and he's completely white, and it's disturbing. It's some disturbing stuff. If you haven't seen it, go back and check it out. Everyone's seen E.T. surely by now. It came out very, very long time ago, over 40 years ago. So he had some great success with those two types of alien films. So again, not his first rodeo. Then fast forward to 2005. So those two first movies were quite tame in relation to what alien encounters would be like. Especially in the first one, which was Close Encounters. At the end of the movie, spoiler alert, there's a whole heap of very bite-sized or children-sized aliens that come to a particular place with the government and human and civilians out that are meeting them all towards the end of the movie. Then you've obviously got E.T. as well. Good family-type feel movies. Then fast forward to 2005. War of the Worlds. I remember seeing War of the Worlds at the cinema, and it was an amazing experience. I love that film. It's a cracker of a film starring Tom Cruise as the main character. And if you haven't seen it, go back and check it out. Highly recommend it. It'd be actually really good to see up on the big screen again. So what happens is we've got a whole heap of different aliens that were placed here. Their ships were placed here hundreds of thousands of years ago, possibly. And what happens is there's an event with a storm. They are basically transported down into these ships, and all hell starts breaking loose where the ships come out of the ground. They come up through the ground with these large pods, and they basically evaporate people with their particular ray guns. And it's basically an apocalyptic film. It's an amazing Spielberg film. I really did enjoy that particular movie when it came out, and still do when it's on streaming services. So they're the three that he's done so far. So fast forward to 2026. We've got Disclosure Day with Emily Blunt as the main character in this particular film. So what is Disclosure Day? So it's kind of a combination of the first three films that I mentioned to a degree. So you've got two main characters, which is Emily Blunt's one of them, and I'll get to the actor of the second main character in it. She is a weather woman, and she starts to say some really funky stuff during one of her live weather segments. Everyone's like, what the hell is going on? She starts talking gibberish, and there's also a Black Ops team or a company that have a whole heap of different alien artifacts and also evidence of aliens or extraterrestrial life on this planet. And the two main characters have already had their interactions with the aliens, and you find that out as the film basically rolls on. And it's all heading to one particular point where the Black Ops team are trying to stop some rogue agents from the Black Ops team that have these alien artifacts and videos, and what they're going to do is basically go out there and tell the world that all hell is breaking loose, we are not alone, and aliens do exist. And all this is also happening whilst the world is on the brink of World War III as well. So there's a lot happening in this particular film. So I will go over the plot a bit more, but they're the alien movies that Spielberg has been involved with thus far. So let's go through some real world events in terms of what has happened out there over the last couple of decades in relation to UFOs and aliens. Alright, so some of these events I am familiar with, some of them I am not. So you can go back and check these ones out, look them up on YouTube, look them up on Wikipedia. But there's one in particular that I know a fair bit about, and it's probably the most recent one where it is just absolutely jaw-dropping. So let's go through it. The Roswell incident in 1947, the foundation of the modern UFO law, the crash of an anomalous object in New Mexico, initially reported by the military as a flying disc, and hastily retraction claimed it was a weather balloon. So there's been some theories that when we dropped the bombs on Japan, in terms of humanity that is, when they started using nuclear weapons, it got the attention of extraterrestrials, and this is when they started to show up. Hence, when the Roswell incident happened with the crashed aircraft in 1947, I'm not entirely sure if they had bodies of aliens or what have you. It happened a couple of years after World War II ended. So it kind of makes sense. It's like you've got their attention, definitely, with these monkeys down on Earth have created nuclear weapons, and we're going to go check them out. Makes sense. So the next one, Project Blue Book, 1952 to 1969, the US Air Force official investigation into UFOs. Spielberg heavily utilized Blue Book consultant Dr. J. Allen Hynek as a technical advisor for Close Encounters. Interesting. See, Spielberg knows. He knows, bro. This kid knows a lot of stuff about this particular topic, hence why he's made 4 movies about it. So I've got here the Betty and Barney Hill abduction, 1961. The first widely publicized abduction case, introducing the world to the classic archetype of the grey alien and the terrifying concept of missing time incident. Interesting. Then we've got this one here. This is an absolute belter. I've heard Joe Rogan talk about this a fair few times. So the Virginia incident in 1996, known as Brazil's Roswell. This case is legendary for its raw physical and biological components. Multiple witnesses, including 3 young women, reported seeing a disorientated, oily, brown-skinned creature with 3 small horns and large red eyes following a rumored UFO crash. The incident involved massive military coordination, alleged medical transport of live entities, and the mysterious death of a young police officer from a sudden runaway infection after physically handling the creature, deeply mirroring the dark bioorganic concepts Spielberg later used in War of the Worlds. This one is frightening. This one is hectic. This happened 30 years ago. Jump on Wikipedia, check that one out. But imagine this. Imagine seeing these little brown aliens running around, and apparently some of the bodies of the aliens, when they were taken to the hospital, had an absolutely rank smell that was out of this world. And there's been plenty of eyewitnesses to that event that took place 30 years ago. It's absolutely nuts. So the next one, we've got the Tic Tac UFO NIMPS encounter in 2004. Navy fighter pilots record physical objects operating with no visible flight control services of thermal exhaust, moving with physics-defying acceleration right before the War of the Worlds hit theaters. Again, I put this into AI, and it ties in with the Spielberg style of movies. Then we've got here number 6. We've got the NYT declassification and AATIP 2017. New York Times blows the lid off the Pentagon's secret advanced aerospace threat identification program, validating leaked military cockpit footage. Number 7. The congressional hearings in 2023. Whistleblower David Gruch, I think that's how you say it, Grucich, testifies under oath that the private defense contractors and government factions possess non-human craft and biological remains. That's only a couple of years ago. That was 3 years ago. You might be a good guess. Let's see if I can get him on. That would be very, very cool. Number 8, the Seoul Foundation and academic shifts, 2024. Elite scientists gather at Stanford University, pivoting the UFO conversation from fringe conspiracy theories to serious academic, historical, and physical study. Number 9, the Five Eyes Global Coordination 2025. Leaks reveal deep synchronized intelligence sharing between the US, UK, Australia, Canada, New Zealand regarding trans-medium objects navigating seamlessly between space, air, and sea. You can see where this is all heading. This timeline is wild in terms of real-world events. And 2026, we've got here, number 10. The 2026 sovereign satellite data leaks. The exact modern landscape that inspired the film, the one that we're talking about. Commercial satellite imagery captures telemetry so undeniable that the private sector holds the cards driving the world to the absolute brink of the forced disclosure. So, getting back into the film, this is where things are heading, I think. This is where things are heading. It's not a what-if conspiracy theory anymore. There's a lot of evidence that is out there. I think this is why Spielberg has dropped this movie in this time frame or this year, because we've seen a lot of stuff in the media over the past couple of years in relation to UFOs. But the whole thing is, because we're fed so much media these days and kept up to speed with everything, it's hard to take note and say, okay, is this real or is this an AI generation? That's another thing as well. The rise of AI with everybody making these videos. I've made them before as well. The new DMR logo, living logo, is via a brand called Kling AI. Very, very cool stuff. So a lot of people have got access to AI generators in terms of making content and visual videos about this particular kind of stuff. So let's keep going with the movie. Let's go over the main characters and then we'll discuss the spoilers as well. Alright, so going over the main characters of the particular film. So we've got Emily Blunt as Margaret Fairchild, a sharp Kansas City TV meteorologist and former hard news journalist. She becomes the emotional heart of the story, and a strange encounter triggers latent, overwhelming telepathic abilities. I'm going to tap into a few spoilers here, causing her to unconsciously speak alien dialects right on TV, on live TV. You see that in the trailer. Then you've got Josh O'Connor as Dr. Daniel Kellner, a cybersecurity whistleblower working inside the Wardex Corporation. They're the main Men in Black corporation. He acts as a spiritual grown-up mirror to Elliot from E.T., an ordinary man driven by an intent protective instinct to share a cosmic truth, even while running for his life after stealing 79 years of suppressed files. Then you've got Colin Firth. Colin Firth as Noah Scanlon. He's the main villain in this particular film. The cold and calculating CEO of the Wardex Corporation, Firth plays completely against type here. Let me back that up. Firth plays completely against type here as a ruthless corporate sovereign who treats alien intelligence as proprietary asset management, using an alien device to physically hunt down Daniel. Eve Hewson as Jane Blankenship, this is another character, a former religious novice and Daniel's girlfriend. She's caught directly in the crossfire of the deep state manhunt, finding her physically compromised by Scalen's tracking tech, and I'll get to that in a second. And then you got Colin Domingo. This guy can do no wrong. Every time Colin Domingo is on the screen, he absolutely owns it. He owns every scene that he's in. He was in Michael as well as Joe Jackson. Amazing stuff. I touched on that in my last review for the Michael movie. He's an amazing actor. We've reached out to him to come on the show. So let's see how that goes. So as Hugo, this is a character, Hugo Wakefield, the Wardex Director of Biological Assets turned high-level defector. Wakefield acts as the internal advocate for humanity, desperately trying to coordinate a controlled disclosure before global geopolitical tensions fracture into World War III. So as you can see here, there's a lot happening in this particular film. We've got a lot of alien footage that has been stored by this particular Black Ops company. You've got two defectors that are basically in this company that have moved away from it and threatened to disclose to the world exactly what is happening with aliens that are out there. You got Colin Firth, who was tracking them down. Whilst all this is happening, the world is on the brink of World War III. So let's go through the main spoilers, and then I'll give it my thoughts and my verdict on Disclosure Day. Alright, so here we go. The top 10 spoiler moments in Disclosure Day. You have been warned, so if you haven't seen the film, go back and check it out. So number one, the Vortex data heist. The high-stakes opening where Daniel extracts nearly 8 decades of encrypted data validating every historical incident from Roswell to the modern day. Then we've got the live broadcast breakdown. Margaret Fairchild is delivering a standard weather report when a sudden psychological shift occurs. She freezes, looks directly into the camera lens, and speaks a chilling, metallic alien dialect that instantly jams regional networks. Wild stuff. It's very, very cool how she talks up on the screen. You see that part in the trailer. Backing up a little bit, so before she goes to work, there is a cardinal, a bird that flies in through her apartment when she's talking to her boyfriend, and she looks into the bird basically looks back into her eyes, and all very odd things start to take place. She starts to talk Russian and in different dialects, and her boyfriend's like, what the hell is going on? And she can't remember any of this. Then she also has like a telekinesis where she can tap into people's minds. She gets pulled over by a cop who's going to give her a ticket for speeding, and she starts talking about intimate details about his particular life as well. So you see this all throughout the film. So we've got here the cardinal. Okay, I'll just discuss that about the red cardinal. That's number 3. The biometric machinery. Daniel unboxes a piece of stolen Vortex technology. It isn't cold industrial metal like the tripods in War of the Worlds. It's a living, shifting piece of biometric engineering that dynamically morphs and responds to human touch. So it's basically like this cylinder type thing where they can grab it and do a whole heap of different styles of things. So Colin Firth can grab it and then tap into people to track down their locations. When Emily Blunt grabs it, she can make things disappear or from people's vision seem like nothing is there. It's very, very strange. And did I have some issues with it? Yeah, it was a little bit clunky in terms of what I actually thought, how useful this particular thing was. Then we've got down here, we've got the World War III catalyst, a terrifying realization that the mobilization of global superpowers isn't due to standard international conflicts, but because foreign intelligence agencies have realized that Vortex has successfully reverse-engineered functional non-human weaponry. And that's what I was talking about with Colin Firth. You've got here the psychic interrogation. Noah Scanlon using the alien artifact to physically breach Jane's mind from miles away, forcing her into a trance-like state to track Daniel's exact location to a scheduled hotel, or secluded hotel. Let's talk about the Colin Firth. Then we've got here the freight train escape. This thing was an absolute ball terror of a scene. I love this scene. So they basically get to a railway crossing and they are pushed by one of these Black Op Vortex guys onto the tracks. And the train, I don't know how they actually did this scene, but the train actually clips the side of the car, hooks onto it, and the car is dragged along the tracks for many, many miles. And you've got the two main characters that are Emily Blunt's on the front bonnet, and they're trying to get onto the train. So an amazing scene. Spielberg had nailed this particular scene. So the freight train escape, a classic chaotic Spielberg set piece after Margaret rescues Daniel from the black site using her empathetic influence to disarm the guards. their vehicles rammed by a Wardeck security guard or security, leading them to a breathless leap onto the moving cargo train. Amazing scene. Then we've got here the broken faith argument. The thematic core of the film delivers an incredible scene inside a monastery where Sister Maria tells Jane that disclosure won't make people lose faith in God. It will make them realize they've spent decades losing faith in each other. The media room, number 9. The media room overtake the climax where Daniel, Margaret, and defecting Wakefield fight their way back into the KCX studio in Kansas, bypassing federal firewalls to patch their stolen data directly into the live global network feed. And we've got number 10 here, the unedited broadcast, the final emotional punch as an NBC News anchor reads the breaking copy. 79 years of suppressed, breathtaking historical footage of non-human intelligence floods the screen on Earth simultaneously. The film ends not on a spaceship landing, but on the quiet, collective realization of humanity waking up to completely transform reality. And also they bring in a live alien that they've got, the good guys that is, into the new studio and basically have that guy up on the screen. So there's a lot to unpack there for this particular film. So let's go over the verdict of what I thought of Disclosure Day. Is this Spielberg's greatest film? No, it's not. It's a very interesting, and I found it entertaining. It's a good, solid film in terms of an alien movie. It's not perfect. When I say it's not perfect, some of the things in this particular film, like the CGI animals, you see those a lot in the trailer. There's deer, birds, and a fox in this particular film. I had an issue with them. They didn't look great to me up on the screen. And this is the same guy, Spielberg, that gave us a brilliant mix of Jurassic Park when it came to animatronics and CGI back in the time. They all still hold up today. So from the same director, we've got these CGI animals that they look out of place in the film. And the whole thing is that the aliens project them as themselves as animals to us as humans, and it's meant to make us calm. So we find out through the film as well that the two main characters in the film, Blunt and the other guy, are abducted as kids, and that's why they've got this connection to the aliens and whatnot. So the cinematography in the movie is quite good. Some of the lighting in the movie is a little bit distracting, with a lot of flared vision or lights over the back of a lot of the characters. Spielberg has done this a fair bit in his other films as well, but it was very evident or noticeable in this particular film in a lot of the scenes, if memory serves. I like the flow of it to a degree in terms of how it all ended up, and it kind of makes sense if the world is on the brink of war, which is not too dissimilar to what we're seeing at the moment. We're not on the brink of World War III, but you've got the incidents or the war in Ukraine, you've got Iran, you've got the Middle East. There's a lot of unstable environments out there at the moment. And that's how this film basically ends up, is that they disclose that we aren't alone with all this footage. And there's some footage in there with the Roswell crash where you've got the retrieving alien bodies as well. All that stuff at the end I found was very, very cool. There's some things with the alien artifacts that I had a bit of an issue with as well. I thought they're a little bit, a bit too far-fetched out there. There's parts of the film that I felt are very real in terms of what we've seen in the media already, and there's some bits that are quite far-fetched or far-reaching in terms of a little bit too, I don't know. It just, to me, it was a little bit far-fetched. All in all, the actors in the film, they play a very good part, or their assigned roles very, very well. Emily Blunt is amazing. She's pretty good in everything. I don't think I can remember a film where she isn't. Colin Domingo is very good as well. That's his name. Let's go back and have a little bit of a look here. Colman Domingo. Very, very good. Very, very solid. Anyhow, so they're all very good in terms of what they can do up on the screen. So my verdict is Disclosure Day worth seeing at the movies. If you love Spielberg films and you're a massive fan of his work, which I am, 100%, go and see the movie. It's quite good up on the screen to watch. However, if you're not a huge Alien fan and you wanted to wait until a streaming service, that might be a better play for you. I was entertained throughout the movie. I wasn't looking at my phone or anything like that. And I did find it quite a decent Alien movie about what may happen out there in the world, especially with what we're seeing in the media these days. But I'd probably give it about a 7.5, 8 out of 10. It's not a perfect movie. I like other Alien movies more so. Movies like Signs or, what was it? The Fourth Kind, I think it was. That's the film's name. I can't remember exactly. Pretty wild stuff in terms of alien shock value. But all in all, a solid film. Obviously, films are very hard to make. But Spielberg has returned to form here. And I think he knows a lot more than he is publicly disclosing about his thoughts around this particular topic with aliens, UFOs, and whatnot. So thank you for tuning in to my review for Disclosure Day. Go and check it out if you are an Alien fan. And we are very busy canvassing for interviews at the moment, and we've got some very solid responses from people that are wanting to come on the show. Some in the next couple of weeks, others later in the year or early 2027. So we're very, very pumped. The system is working. We're getting the responses that we want, and doors are definitely opening in terms of further interviews for the next couple of quarters and into the new year. So again, thanks for tuning in to DMR. Much appreciated. And as always, leaders on the Menji.
You've just experienced DMR, the red carpet treatment. Now, get your ass to the movies.